You won't believe it. 4 ancient masters created 4 weapons to protect the world. They need 4 new masters to take control again. However, the moment these words escaped his lips, they instantly ignited a blazing fury in Grandmaster Sucheng, who resolutely refused to allow anyone to lay hands on these sacred relics again, much like how he detests his hair being disarrayed by the wind. Bao seemed to have an epiphany, wanting to save the world, but ironically could end up destroying it. To prevent the artifacts from being used again, the Grandmaster decided to keep quiet. Luckily, Yova's spirit returned in time. Meanwhile, Lumini accidentally found the scientist's lab deep in the volcano sea a real treasure. His roar surprisingly attracted the crab, so they tied him to a dead tree classic movie moment. Then they turned around to face the Iron Giants. With the teamwork of Brad and Bao, they quickly reached the cave entrance, waiting for the guards to move out. Everyone rushed into the cave, but suddenly a cannonball flew over it and sent them tumbling like a flying circus. Who'd think the Weasel siblings launched it, controlling their spaceship with such style, like a party? Now, these heroes rely on Lumina's fiery whip. She swings it like dancing. Lumina ignored the master's objections, swinging her fiery whip, while Veruca stopped hiding and activated the giant peak helmet. With energy and fiery whip intertwining, a huge vortex formed like a roller coaster. With a bang, Lumini flew at a thrill. Both bears were thrown by the cannon fire. In a crisis, the master grabbed the restraints, thinking, "Let's see this move." The 2 artifacts clashed, dazing Veruca. Losing the helmet's protection, the spaceship plummeted downward. In time, Veruca woke up, halted the spaceship, jumped on, and aimed the cannon at Bao and the gang. As the cannonball was fired, a gigantic tail suddenly battered it back. It turns out the steel claws were their saviors. Suddenly, the chase scientist appeared and took them to the cave, revealing the secret, the Weasel siblings' cannon fire. Fortunately, they nearly turned to mush, but a scientist saved them into the volcano, crossing a lava river. Finally, they reached the lab, where the scientist's eyes lit up upon seeing the fabric on Brad. "Well, that's my creation." Just then, the volcano's magma erupted in a rush, and they rushed to board 3 steel crabs, making it a dramatic escape. However, Buzz stumbled like a clown on his first try controlling the mecha, shocked to find it was the notorious Little Bus Village. Akin remembered that the village's farmland used to be so fertile that they could sustain themselves, but then, one day, the sky stopped raining, crops withered. The villagers were dumbfounded. "Oh, I heard that the neighboring Dika village had more rain and better harvests, forcing the villagers to resort to resource acquisition. But they only took what they needed." Later, Brad's brother Alfie accidentally stole some. Akin and Alfie went to meet Zuma, who was holding dual rods, summoning lightning like he was hosting an electric party. Alfie quickly knocked down Zuma's lightning ring, but Akin got hit by his furious retaliation. In a pinch, Akin activated the lightning wheel, using its power to make a hasty escape. With Alfie, it felt just like a comic book scene. To keep Zuma at bay, Alfie decided to take him down, but realized it was way harder than climbing to the moon. However, their fates intertwined, and Akin gifted the lightning wheel to him, only to find out his brother, trying to avoid weapon harm, ended up getting the axe from the Weasels. Not cool at all. Now Klaus and Veruca were here, and he thought, if I only had heavenly weapons, it would be a fantasy come true. Brad's mind suddenly conjured up the image of Lumina's fiery whip, but he was met with fierce opposition as he, too, wanted to personally catch the Weasel siblings. Such greed. However, trying to snatch the lightning wheel from Zuma was like trying to take candy from a shark's mouth, almost impossible. Right now, Akin's mechanical crabs were outnumbered, and the lab had been wrecked by the Weasel siblings, but Bao had a light bulb moment. Leading them to Bebe's village, Bao detailed the situation, but villagers were skeptical, like watching an absurd play. Just then, the Weasel siblings arrived, and Bao and the others had no choice but to hide, just like playing hide and seek. Faced with Veruca's questions, Bebe planned to lie, unaware it was futile against the Weasel's cunning. Bebe, feeling frustrated, kicked one of the Weasels hard, but they bounced back, sending him flying with the spaceship. However, dark clouds gathered suddenly, and then Zuma appeared on the spaceship. It was so intense. Veruca shouted with excitement, "Wow, this is amazing. They found the artifact so quickly." Even though the speed of the lightning was unbelievable, Veruca's attacks always missed. The dodging felt like avoiding a match. In a rage, he clashed gloves with the lightning wheel, sending both artifacts colliding and Zuma flying a spectacular crash. Unfortunately, the mask fell off, and everyone recognized that he was a guardian. They couldn't help but admire. At this moment, the lightning wheel reactivated, immobilizing the Weasels. Zuma seized the infinity gloves. Following that, he jumped into the air, surging with electricity, and launching the spaceship towards the volcano. It was absolute. Now Zuma had successfully obtained 3 ancient artifacts, while Bao and his friends started plotting their counterattack against him. They melted vinegar balls into rubber and applied it to the iron virtual surface. How innovative! It could effectively resist Zuma's lightning attacks. What a brilliant idea. Against the infinity gloves and giant peak helmet, no one saw hope. They didn't know the ancient masters created artifacts to enhance themselves. At this moment, the Grand Master was within Yava's body. If he could restore the lightning power, they could retrieve the artifacts back from Zuma. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. There's even more thrilling and exciting content waiting for you in the future ahead.